Today is Tuesday, July the 16th.
I'm Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I'm Jeff Zayas in Napa, California.
Hey, I'm Duke Carrico, and on this edition of Tech and Coffee's Android Journal, Chromebooks with Intel's i3s and ARM Cortex processors, along with competition from Microsoft. Also, we're going to look at the first steady wave of Androidwear apps and the rumored cost of the iWatch. Hey, all of this more in our app picks. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Evening.
And right out of the gate, hey, I apologize especially to you Stitcher listeners. Just couldn't make it last night. I had a little family thing come up, and I apologize. But, yeah, we're trying to make up for that tonight. Hey, guys, it's some very unseasonably cool weather here in Northeast Tennessee. I mean, I think the high today was like 75. And, of course, I was stuck inside all day. But what a beautiful day here. It's very rare that we have weather this mild in mid-July. What's the weather like in Napa, Jeff?
Actually, we're going through a little tropical kind of deal. So at the high today is about 75, 79, but it's humid. There's kind of high clouds and humidity here, which is really unusual for California for us. But well, starting in 2 days, and we might even go through a weather app or two kind of talking about what the weather is going to be like in Napa in the next 3 days. So,
there you go.
We'll cover that. I think that later.
Yeah. All right. Hey, guys, let's get down to it. First of all, hey, Acer has just announced this week that they are going to unveil yet another C720 Chromebook. But this one is going to be running the 4th generation Intel iCore 3 Haswell processor, clocked at 1.7. Actually, they're going to have 2 versions of this. Both of them are going to include a 32 gigabyte drive, 11.6 inch screen, which is 1366 by 768. P resolution, that's not improved. It's going to be also feature Intel HD graphics 4400 card. Hey, the cheaper one is going to hit at $349 with 2 gigs of RAM, and for $379 you can get the 4 gigger. Both of these are supposed to be available sometime this month. So the question that I'm going to ask you, Bruce, is $379 too much for a Chromebook?
You know, I knew you were going to ask me that question. I'll tell you, this $350 and up Chromebook prices, I'm just concerned about how it's going to compare with Microsoft, which, as you well know, has launched some strategies to try to compete with the Chromebook. And, you know, getting close to parity in price is going to be a challenge. I do applaud Acer for coming out with an upgrade. I think for those of us who like Chromebooks, and I will tell you here, this is my new Case Logic case for my C720 as I pull it out and Jeff gets excited. Don't get too excited, Jeff, okay? You know, I like the design. I like the size and the weight. I like the screen size. As you well know, we both kind of like that 11.6 and everything. And for those of us who like to kind of tweak these things out, you know, like the old hot rods, you know, I think having the i3 processor is going to open up some other possibilities for people who want to, you know, run Linux on the side and being able to do maybe a little more intense type operations, perhaps maybe even some pretty decent video editing, basic stuff, but still stuff that would be, you know, I'd be hard pressed to do on the Haswell processor on this thing. But so it's interesting. I'm not sure. You know, when you think about, you know, this for $199, and we're talking about the possibility of, like, for the high price one, you know, $380 basically. Is it worth $180 And now you can get this one. You can find this the first generation C720 with 2 gigs of RAM as low as 165 I've seen right now, and that's brand new. Is it worth $180 to $200 for that processor? For you to do different things. I don't know, Jeff. What do you think?
Let me ask Jeff another question.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jeff.
All right.
The new Samsung, Samsung, I'm going to call it the second generation Samsung with a fake leather back. That thing, it's a little bit larger screen, but it's a better display. But it's running the Exynos processor from Samsung. The thing's getting terrible reviews. Okay, I mean, everybody talks about how sluggish it is. That thing's $400. So how do you think that i3 Acer will compare against that Samsung with the Exynos processor?
Well, if that, I don't have the Samsung. I have the same Chromebook as Bruce has, right? Mine was a little bit more. I have the 4 gigs of RAM. For my consumption, for what I do, it is zippy, right? I can have 8 to 10 tabs open, no problem. And I would imagine having an i3 processor would allow me some more horsepower. $349 is, I think, getting to the upper level of what a Chromebook should be priced at. And the reason why I say that is it's the idea of a low-cost, entry-level, kind of do-everything, road warrior kind of device that is, internet connected. And yes, you could put Linux on it, you could do some other things, but quite honestly, that's not the market for what these guys are trying to get to, right? I mean, they're just trying to, up the specs it for whatever reason, but not, price it. I think they're right at the upper level on the price, because who are they pricing this for? Are they pricing it for students? Are they pricing it for education market? Is it for the mass consumptions? I haven't heard any complaints about being zippy or processing or anything for the Chromebook that I have, the Acer 720. And I haven't run into any difficulties. And mine was $249, I think, because it was $50 more for the extra 2 gigs, right? So. $349 is $100 more. If there's some apps I could run, perhaps.
Well, I think both of you make good points around. If you do like to tweak with, if you're a fan of Linux, or you to run specific applications such as Skype, there might be some justifications, Bruce, for spending $180 more.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's going to kind of lead us into what about the low end? They've also announced this week, actually Engadget did an article that said that there's some code that's been found that looks like that very soon we're going to start seeing Chromebooks that are running on the ARM Cortex, the A7 processor. This is a very large step down from the ARM processors that are running now along with the Haswells. And the speculation is that we're going to see Chromebooks probably coming from companies out of India and China. But they'll be coming to America and Europe, and they're going to be hitting around the $150 and maybe even $100 mark. I guess, Jeff, I'm going to ask you, what kind of do these things, do they stand a chance in America?
Probably not. I mean, they're $100 laptop is. You get what you pay for. We talked about a $100 tablet, right? And we kind of shied away at one point saying, it's not going to really, you're going to get it, you're going to play with it, and then you're going to not use it because it won't be powerful enough. So I'm sure once people start having 4 or 5 tabs open and trying to do some video, try to do a hangout or whatever, that experience is just going to be downgraded on such a low spec machine. That it's just not going to that's not going to be doable for an American market, I would think. But for a third world country or a low, I should say third world, but for a economically compressed environment, that might make a sense. Yeah.
Okay. Bruce?
I think the only market for that Chromebook, as you've described it, would be in elementary schools, in the educational market, but in elementary schools. You get up in the middle school and senior high school, they're going to be needing to do a lot more. But perhaps maybe in first through fifth grade, before you get to middle school, a low-powered one at that price, could be functional. But for the average Chromebook user right now who are buying it, they would be seriously disappointed once they try to run multiple tabs and do some of the things we do, including Hangouts.
Yeah, I think both of you make good points, and especially the tablet point, Jeff. And we've talked many times before how, excuse me, a lot of these Chinese tablets that were, like when the Galaxy tabs and stuff were hitting around the $300-400 mark. These things, we were seeing them on eBay, so forth, at $99, $149,
right.
And people were buying these things, and they were a terrible experience, and they really gave Android a bad name. And I think the same could be applied here. This is my fear that we've been playing with the Chromebook. We know their limitations, but we also know that they're great, lightweight machines, and they're really good at what they do. And these things right here are going to give people, all Chromebooks are crap because the $100 one that I bought was crap.
Right. And I'm spoiled. I mean, when I open up my Chromebook, in 3 seconds I'm on the internet and I'm browsing. It's like open on, bam, it's there. And you go back to a Windows environment where things have to wake up or you have to reboot or whatever you have to do. It's just not the same experience. It's not that quick gratification kind of thing that Chromebook does give you quite elegantly, actually.
Well, speaking of the Windows experience, we also got an announcement this Monday from Microsoft. Microsoft is going to launch a streaming PC. I'm assuming this was what they announced earlier this year when they talked about Windows with Bing. Okay?
Yeah.
These things are going to, listen, we're talking about $200 window machines. And first of all, Bruce, I'm going to let you go on this one. Is this unexpected?
No, not unexpected at all. I think they had to do something. I think they realized their Scroogle campaign failed. They were beginning to lose big time in the educational market. In the commercial market, a lot of people were buying Chromebooks. Big corporations when Google announced their agreement and contract with VMware, we're beginning to look at the possibility of using Chromebooks to operate Windows programs running on their servers with VMware and giving people a really lightweight way to do that. So it doesn't surprise me at all. And it really depends on what this Windows 8.1 with Bing ends up looking like. Is it going to be like Surface RT, limited and crippled, or is it going to be something that can run some of the business applications that people like Skype and Link and OneNote and things like that?
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of. I'm gonna read off that from the website here. What the 6 things that this can do that a Chromebook can't do according to them. Run both native and web apps. Number 1. Run full Office. Number 3. Run desktop applications. Number 4. Work well offline with limited bandwidth. Number 5. Work with many peripherals, drivers, and availabilities. So basically, most of the drivers. And number 6, which is kind of big, print directly to your printer, right? That's because it's going to have print drivers, natively in it. That's kind of a big thing for some people. So and the price point is of $249. Seems like a sweet spot. I think it's depending on, and if you don't like it, guess what you do? You load the Chrome OS on it. Why
Hey,
not?
right now, if I wanted to, from my Chromebook, I can print to this Canon MX340
Sure.
printer right now. So I
Yeah.
can do it. I can do it wirelessly. And furthermore, I can print to this printer from any place I am in the world that I have bandwidth. You know, like if my wife
Yeah.
says,
You have using cloud print.
exactly, what's wrong with cloud print?
Yeah. No, well, I'm just saying I've had some difficulties with cloud print. I've had some times where it thought my printer was offline when it wasn't, and I had to boot up my PC to make that connection happen again.
Yeah, I can print to
So
a network printer at our home office in Melbourne, Florida, from this Chromebook right now.
sure, and you could do that, and you could do that as well from a Windows machine.
Yeah, when you talk about drivers though for printers, you're talking about that whole Windows muck up crap full of stuff. You know, I don't need a whole bunch of drivers, printer drivers, camera drivers. You know,
Well,
that's the beauty of the Chromebook. I don't have to have all that stuff.
No. Say if you had an older, no. If you had an older printer, right, that wasn't cloud print capable, you'd have to have your desktop as a print server, basically,
Right.
so you could print to it.
Right.
So depending on what your configuration is for your hardware, you know, it kind of runs the gamut. I'm lucky I have a relatively newer Epson printer that is cloud print enabled, but it doesn't always work, say 1,000%. It probably works 950%, and I have to tweak it now and then to get it to print directly without having my workstation on.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, but I think the 249, it's absolutely priced to be competitive. Absolutely, no doubt. But I think that the negative thing will be,
it intrigues me if it's small and light, and I can run Cisco IP Communicator, Cisco Agent Supervisor Desktop, some of the programs that I need for work, and
Right.
then it would get my attention, you know. But
All right, just let me say this first of all, in this ad, and I'll share this for our YouTubers. You know, Microsoft's got just a little ad here, an example of what they're going to have. And the first thing they've got is an Acer Aspire. It's the ES1 model, $250, a 2.16 gigahertz Intel Celeron processor, a 500 gigabyte hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM, and a 15.6-inch screen. Also, the other one is going to be a Toshiba 11.6-inch screen, also for $249. Just 2.4 pounds, Bruce, with a 32 gigabyte SSD. Okay, 32 gigabyte SSD is really going to limit you on that Microsoft file storage that you really would gain on using a Windows system. You know, they've got a file structure, a file system in place that you're not going to get with a Chromebook. But with that said, I'll tell you what's scaring me is this this Windows with Bing thing. Okay, now I'm just telling you guys, if I can install Chrome on this and use my Chrome browser with all my Chrome extensions, man, $250, they've got my attention. But if this thing is going to be locked down to where I have to use Bing and Internet Explorer, they just made my decision on my next netbook a whole lot easier. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's kind of funny. You got the same error message I have. Shockwave
Yeah.
Flash has crashed.
Crashed. And Jeff, just let me say this in this ad there where it says that 6 things a Chromebook can't do. You know what that tells me?
What?
Boy, a Chromebook can do a whole lot of things, but because there are
Yeah.
6 of them that it can't do.
The only thing, you know, the thing that Microsoft or slash Windows has against them in this whole thing is people are going to expect that it'll be able to run all these, you know, programs like a regular, you know, powered laptop will be able to do, and it probably won't be able to. It'll be slow and sluggish like every other Windows kind of machine, and you try to run something that's, graphic intensive or whatever, you won't be able to do it. It won't meet the minimum requirements for like Vegas Pro or something like that, or Wirecast, or XSplit probably won't work on it, and it'll be kind of we'll see. Be kind of interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, they ought to add a seventh thing. 7 things a Chromebook can't do. Can't get viruses. Great thing about a Chromebook, right? Power wash. You know how quick it is to restore a Chromebook? Well, you both know because you both have them. I mean, it takes, what, 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the advantage. That's one of the huge advantages.
And automatic
and
updates.
it's automatic updates. Bingo, bango. And for me, it's that instant on.
Mm-hmm.
It is instant on.
Well, I'm just going to say I don't know if I can wait till the holiday season, because I'm not lying to you guys, that new Acer really appeals to me with that i3 and 4 gigs of RAM, and I might have to grab that one before it's over with. I don't think I can wait till the holiday season.
Wait for the end of the year for the new Fire Top.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait.
No, come on. Amazon has to come up with something like Fire Laptop, Fire Top.
Oh, yeah, they'll have their Fire OS, their Fire OS PC. Yeah. But anyway, listen, I think it's cool, and I will agree. I think Bruce, it was you that said that mentioned the Scroogled campaign. I know the Scroogled campaign got a lot of criticism from this group right here on this panel, and it was just so fake and such a stretch. Yeah. And I personally am glad to see Microsoft make this move, whether this new cheap PC is going to be great or not. At least the competition's getting interesting.
Yeah, this was the appropriate response, not the Scroogle campaign. Absolutely. This is an appropriate response.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, hey guys, listen, man. Androidwear. I know Tech and Coffee regular Dennis DeVoe. He's a Tech and Coffee regular and a sometimes guest here. He grabbed the latest Samsung watch. I've been following a lot of his posts. He's had some criticism of the Androidwear watch, particularly the Samsung, but I think overall he's liked it. But I'll tell you what, there just seems to be a constant wave of new apps that are hitting the Play Store, and I'll tell you what, a lot of them are what is wrong with Androidwear. I'll tell you what, just let me share this real quick with the YouTubers. If you can kind of see this watch right here, how easy do you think it would be to use that calculator right there with your finger? Okay, I don't think that just because you can fit a little square on a screen 4 times across means that you should. I'm seeing, however, when I open up the App Store and look at the Androidwear watches, I'm seeing several calculators, a whole lot of themes or wallpapers, and a lot of utility type stuff, raising the volume, so forth, etc. And guys, Androidwear has yet to excite me. Jeff, weigh in here, man.
Well, one of the biggest complaints that I heard from Dennis or from his postings on Google Plus and actually Facebook is that it's hard for him to read it outside in sunlight, which is like, that's not good. Right? So they have to have a better display that allows you to see what's going on in your wrist. Getting back to the apps, for me it would be some health and fitness app that would tie into some something else would be appropriate. But just having another device that's on my watch that I can't read or see, it's not going to really make it for me unless there is a killer app. Like you said, I haven't seen it yet, and hopefully it's forthcoming. And again, we'll be talking about the iWatch, so maybe there's something coming up with that that's going to make it interesting. Bruce?
Yeah, well, this is not a bad calculator. Okay, Google. 27 times 9.
The answer is 243.
Now, I know that's a very simple illustration, but there are other ways. Now, with this, Android Wear watch, some of them we know have built-in mics, so you could do a calculator that way. But I agree with you. I think the better market is for fitness-related apps, heartbeat monitors and those types of things. Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I don't. It just it kills me when they call them smartwatches, because I've yet to see anything that's really smart about them. They are an extension of the smartphone, and I guess it's like this. I'm saying, well, my phone already does that. Why do I need to look at my wrist to tell me that you should reach for your phone? Okay, and that's where. Go ahead, Jim.
And I was going to say that, like yesterday, I had to get propane for my grill, right? So I'm going, I just grabbed the tank and I took off, and I looked at, I did a little search before I left at this Napa Valley Petroleum place. So I start driving. I'm going, I thought it was right here. It's not. So I pulled out my smartphone, thinking it's smarter than I am, right? And I, said, where is this thing? And it kept on directing me to go to this like 24 miles away. And I'm going, man, I had to pull over to the side of the road, try to figure this out, and I still couldn't figure out where I had to go, even though I have Google Now, Google all this stuff. So, at one point you got to have your own intelligence, So if your phone can't figure it out, I doubt that your watch is going to figure it out, And so, anyways, long story short, I did get propane.
I'll tell you, dude, that article, I know you guys have all read it, that came out, prognosticating about the iWatch and what it would sell for and when it might come out, and a picture of what it might look like, and some prognostication of how many units that they thought it would sell. I tell you, it looked pretty impressive. Certainly was a better looking prototype than any of the Android Wear watches I've seen, except for perhaps a Motorola X. But saying it's a third of the size of some of these other ones and what it might do, it's going to really be interesting. I mean, this is a huge play for Apple, and I for one am really interested to see what they come out with. And they could very easily, if they could blow the competition out of the water.
Well, they as they do a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And if this analyst is true, by the way, the article that we're talking about here is a CNET article, and we've got an analyst who has come forth. He's says that it's going to sell for $300, and they're expecting to sell somewhere between 30 and 60 million of these iWatches on the first year that they're available, and I guess if you say, well, that's a whole lot more than the current Android Wear. No, it's not. It's about a third more. And I want to tell you something. From what I've seen so far from Android Wear, it really does have a big chance of doing things better. Okay, I mean, basically, from what I've seen so far, there's a whole lot of improvement that can be made to the whole Android Wear genre.
Sure. But, one thing Apple's always had at its corner is elegant design. They've always been able to do that. So out of as Bruce said, the Moto 360 is probably the most compelling watch, right? And it looks the most fashion forward, whatever you want to call it. So I think the round design is, a little more attractive. So we'll see what the iWatch does come up with. They have a huge fan base. I mean, and a customer base, I should say. So who would be shocked that they sold 60 million? I mean, none of us here, right?
Now look at this. This is one of the apps that you gave us on that site. A Firefox browser for Android Wear. For a browser for a watch? Are you serious?
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's being made for it, but it's pretty lame. Everything that I've seen so far,
Yeah, but look how
developers, it's lame.
But it had 1 million downloads. They didn't sell 1 million watches already, did they?
Who knows?
That can't be right.
Well, it's on the Android Wear, the link for Android Wear, and so that may have been for the Firefox browser for Android, but it's on that Android Wear link, so it'll run on your watch. But I mean, good night.
Yeah, it's not designed for it,
Yeah.
Of course not. A lot of stuff is going to run on your watch.
Yeah, I need more than cataract surgery to be able to read a browser on my watch.
We could have Tech and Coffee, .info on the watch. Be like, click this link. I can't.
All right.
Oh, man.
Listen, let's move on then. Hey guys, Gmail is The Verge called it a new beginning. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking the API and they're basically offering it to developers, to where developers can utilize Gmail right within apps. Now, I guess the question that I've got to you guys is, mail's not as important to me as it once was. My inbox at work, I use Microsoft Exchange at work, and I mean, man, I'm getting emails. I mean, I took a week's vacation. I came back to almost 300 emails. Okay, you can bet that I'm filter nose. I'm trying my best to delete them and not even read them. All right, I do that a lot with Gmail too. I'm sorry, but I do.
Yeah.
What can developers do with this IMAP protocol to incorporate in their apps to utilize the Gmail platform?
Well, if like for businesses, for healthcare industries, emailing, secure email, right, is an important thing. So I could see something like that being important. Customer service, items that you have to interface with. You want to send back some feedback, like something. If you bought in some kind of purchase and you wanted to get more information about the tracking and things like that, you could send out an email directly to the shipper the correct way and eliminate a lot of errors. So yeah, I could see for businesses it could be very effective. If you had, but for my purposes, no, I don't have a business. I don't have, it's not going to really help me. But if there was, if there was for an app and you were working and it was you wanted to contact them, there was a little button, email us your, with a log file, it automatically did it. That'd be cool. Why not?
All right. Bruce, anything you want to add to this?
Well, I mean, one of the things the article brings out is there are no push notifications available yet for this Google API. And I got to be honest with you. I mean, I like Gmail. I use Gmail. I've got the Gmail tab open on my browser. But when it comes to my Samsung Galaxy Note 2, I've got the Gmail app on here. But you know what? I rarely ever use it. I turn off notifications on the Gmail app because I use the stock email app that came with the phone. And you know what? It enabled me to add an account, so I've got my Gmail account using the stock mail app. I've got my home office healthcare company that I work for, Microsoft Exchange account on here. I can get a combined list of all the emails from both, or I can look at one or the other. And you know what? It works really, really good. I get push notifications, and I like it. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with this, but email is a necessary evil still.
Well, I think too, Google. I applaud Google for trying to find ways to extend Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see what happens with that. But I did find it interesting. Sure did. All right, man. Finally, I believe we talked about this one, guys, just a couple of weeks back. Maybe it was our sister show, Tech News Week. But I found this pretty cool that Google had developed a contact lens that would basically check your blood glucose level. So if you were a diabetic, this was going to be pretty handy. And now we've got a Swiss pharmaceutical company, Novartis, and
Reverse.
they have signed up to commercialize this smart contact lens. This is actually going to be a real product. We don't know how much it's going to cost, but hey, man, I thought this was pretty cool. Jeff, what do you think, man?
Well, it just shows you, that one of Google's moonshots or whatever they do and how they do this stuff is it just benefits everybody, right? So if you're a diabetic, which I am not, and all I have to do is wear a contact lens and let me know when what's going on through an app. Oh man, how cool is that? I don't have to do a blood test, prick me myself or whatever to get that down. It actually eliminates a lot of those blood test things, and eventually you won't see those little testers anymore. They'll be all contact lens or some kind of dermis type thing that reads it. So I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, you think about it. I mean, you do away with the strips, you do away with the meter, you do away with alcohol swabs, you do away with the little lancets, you do away with the lancet device that you have to use to stick your finger each time. I mean, this is a game changer. And then you think about this, okay? So maybe you got an app on your phone that this thing communicates with, so you can check your sugar. Then think about this. My wife wears an insulin pump. What if there was an Android insulin pump where you could have it automatically control? You have a closed circuit thing. Now, they do have a closed circuit type thing right now, using these pumps and so forth. It's very expensive, but you can imagine if all this was done, of course, it remains to be seen how much this is going to cost as well. But I can't help but think about something this small that ultimately in manufacturing they're going to be able to get the price down on this thing to make it very, very competitive with all the other nonsense you have to do to check your sugar now.
Yeah, if you think about how expensive contact lenses were when they first came out, and now how much you get them, via the mail.
Well, that's the other thing. If you're a diabetic and you wear glasses, you kill two birds with one stone as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunity there. Like I say, I thought this was real cool story. So kudos, Google. I hope this goes, and I hope it's affordable. And this is one of those things where technology definitely ought to be a positive thing on humanity for sure. All right, man. Hey, before we move into our apps, which is next, let me give you guys our version of spam. First of all, Tech and Coffee is a daily hangout. And if you want to learn about us, head on over to techandcoffee.info. You can click on Join the Hangout and come hang out with us, man. We do it every day. We love to talk tech. We drink our favorite beverages, and we are a community. Been a community for ever since 2011, actually. We've also got a Twitter and a Facebook account. You can follow us at those places, Tech and Coffee 1. Hey, our YouTube channel is Tech and Coffee. You can catch the audio versions of our podcast on Stitcher Radio and iTunes. Just pull up Stitcher Radio, search for Android Journal, and you can listen to this one. Also, questions, comments, and snide remarks, send them to aj@techandcoffee.info. Hey, Bruce, what kind of app you got for us this week, man?
All right, my app this week, and I'm going to share it with you on my screen, is an app called Commander, Commandr. Now, Duke, I know you had a Samsung Galaxy Note. You've got the Nexus 5 right now. I've got the Note 2, And the Note 2 and your Galaxy phones, the S3, S4, S5, come with a thing called S Voice. And the way you normally get to S Voice is by double tapping the home screen. And it's a lot like Google Now. You tap that and you can ask it questions. You can say set a reminder for 5 o'clock tomorrow and that sort of thing, and it'll do it. But if you're a real Googler and Android folks, you know you really like Google Now. And Google Now is just getting better and better. And now that Nova Launcher has added the ability to be able to launch Google Now from the home screen, we're not like yet, you know, the Moto X where you can wake it up. And of course, you know, that feature was nice. I had the Moto X for a few days, as you know, when my phone crashed. But that uses battery, you know, to keep that feature on all the way. But what Commander for Google Now does, it allows you to get into the internals and control that when you do whatever you do to get S Voice, it automatically switches to Google Now. And so when you double tap the home button, and there'll be a little bit of delay, but instead of opening up S Voice, it'll take you right to Google Now. Now that I've got Android 4.4.2 and the Nova Launcher is giving me the Google Now from the home screen, this is not as critical right now for me. But if you don't want to use S Voice and you want an app that when you activate S Voice as you normally would, it'll take you straight to Google Now, then Commander might be for you. Commander.
Hey, I got a question about Tech and Coffee. We're over like 35,000 members now, right?
In the Tech and Coffee community, yes, we are.
Yeah. It's got to be one of the larger ones out there.
I think we're in the top 200 communities, Jeff.
There we go. All right. Join us now. Use Commander. All right, I'm going to go next with my app because I'm going to steal an app from Robert Taylor. He's not here. He was actually going to do Yahoo Weather, and you know, since he had to leave, his loss is my app gain. So I'm gonna let me see if I can get this to work. If not, then we're in trouble. All right. So Yahoo Weather is a free app. It's on the Play Store. I don't know how many downloads it has, but it has a lot. Automatically goes off your location, so it knows right now that I'm in Napa. You know, it has a nice little screen that shows me it's 77 degrees. The high today was 79. Has the forecast by time. That scrolls over left to right, which is nice. Has a, you know, by default it's a 5-day forecast going forward. Has some other nice features. You can get like you know, it does the humidity and, you know, UV index and things like that. You can see a live. When you click on the map here, it will give you a Doppler reading of the current map, but it's not live radar feed, so it just kind of just shows it at that time. Which you know, the other apps do that a little bit. Wind speed, you know, sunrise, sunset, just very clean. I liked it. You could add whatever locations you wanted. If you wanted to add every location from every Tech and Coffee person in the Tech and Coffee community, you could do that. 35,000 strong. You could find the weather in everyone's hometown. But I actually like it. I like the look. I think it's very clean. It does what it's supposed to do. But rumor has it there might be another app that's even better for the weather. For the weather. And well, what would that be, Duke?
Just let me say that the way that Robert and I found these apps is The Verge actually did a special on what was the best weather app, and the best one was Yahoo Weather. And
being free.
I just want to say Robert Taylor really likes Yahoo Weather better than the app that I chose, and I paid for mine. Okay? And real quick here, I'm going to just kind of walk you through. This is, they're showing it on a tablet here. And it's got, if you'll notice here, it's got this thing called MinuteCast. Says that rain will start in 70 minutes. Guys, I have
Hey,
checked.
hey Duke, you forgot to name your app.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's AccuWeather. AccuWeather. So the MinuteCast will actually tell you when it's going to start raining, and when it starts raining, it will actually tell you when it's going to stop. 2 times now, I have found this to be very, very accurate. Now, it does do your typical things on it. It'll give you your hourly forecast, your daily forecast. It will give you multi-day forecast. It gives you maps, satellite views, videos, news, locations. Real quick, I'm going to walk you through just some of the views here, and you just kind of swipe left and right to get these views. Here again, these are, this is demoing it on a tablet in landscape mode, okay? But now what I'd like to do is I'm going to try and show you this app. And this is one thing that I really like about it. It won't do it, but I'm launching this app now from my phone, and it's giving me right now it's 75 degrees, and it says looking ahead that I can expect a thunderstorm for Friday evening. Okay. And if I want to learn more about that, I can click on that, and it will take me over. Here's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I can look ahead, okay, several days ahead, actually. In fact, 10 days, I believe. Now, it's also got the map view, and that's not there. Now it's loading up. As you can see in my area right now, it's clear. I can add locations very easily to this. But right here is really what I like about this. This is the MinuteCast feature. And if you'll notice, I've got the little GPS icon up here. I can touch it. And basically what it's going to do is it goes and it finds my current address. And it's telling me right now no precipitation for 120 minutes. And I can scroll through here if I want to, but if it was supposed to rain here at 9:14 p.m., it would actually start showing me right there that it's going to start raining here. It's a very, very cool app. If there is a free version out there if you want to go try it. But, yeah, like I say, I did purchase this. I am very, very impressed with the AccuWeather.com weather app. Very, very cool app. It's not the prettiest one that I've ever used. And, you know, I used WeatherBug for about maybe 4 years on my devices, a paid version of WeatherBug. Loved it, but I want to tell you something. This MinuteCast is so highly accurate, at least by my initial experiences, and I'm going to be using this one for a while, guys.
Does that come with a widget?
The paid version does offer widgets. Yes, it does. Yes. The free version does not offer widgets and has advertising. All right, guys. Anything else this week?
No, I'm just getting over a cold.
All right, surely there's an app for that by now, Jim.
You know, I'll tell you what. I did more Google searching about colds and, you know, what causes colds and, you know, what's the difference between the cold and the flu, because it knocked me for a loop. This is my first cold in like 15 years, man. Crazy.
I hope you can survive it, man. I think you probably ought to go to the doctor, man. If you hadn't had a cold in 15 years and you got one, it might be something serious, Jeff.
I'm just a big baby.
You might have the zombie flu and don't know it.
Well, I have the zombie phlegm.
I heard that. Hey, all right, man. Hey, we normally do this on Tuesday nights. We had to do it Wednesday night this time, but normally Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Watch us live. We'll take your questions. And you guys have a great rest of the week, man. We'll catch y'all a little bit later.